Hi guys, give me a minute. Give me a minute, please. Let me set up properly. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Um, Welcome to today's YouTube live again. If you guys give me a second, let me set up properly. I will be. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a few minutes for people to join in. Today's topic will be about the claimed rigging of the presidential elections of 2021. Actually, let me set up TikTok as well, so I can go live on both simultaneously. The beauty of having different platforms. So you guys give me a minute. Let me set up. And we can do this program together as always. Okay. Give me a second. Switch channels. So you guys give me a second. Share the video. Let people know that I'm live. The more we educate each other, the more we give each other very good information about our nation, the better we will get a well-informed electorate. And with a well-informed electorate, there will be changes in the Gambia in the next presidential election, no doubt. All right, so you guys give me a second. Let me set this up. Let some people join in. So this gentleman came out the other day. This gentleman, I'm going to do today's program in English. So if you don't understand English, I apologize in advance. If I get a little bit of time, I will also have the program in Jola, Wall of Mandinka, and I'll improve my fuller so that I can have my programs in fuller as well. All right. So you guys give me 1 minute. Let me set this up. I'm live on YouTube on the Voice of Lamin Tamba, and I'm live on TikTok. Whichever platform works better for you, please tune into it and listen to this program because it's very important. I'm going to be talking about the election rigging of 2021 presidential election in the Gambia and new information that's come to light. Whether the information is correct or wrong, we do not know at this point. I do not know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's false. We don't know. But at least we'll go through it now so we can all look at it from different angles. All right, so people are joining in. Thank you very much for joining in today again to watch me live on TikTok and live on YouTube. I appreciate the time you guys dedicate to listen to me. I really appreciate it. And as you know, my programs on YouTube, my activism, it's It's got nothing to do with individualism, self-aggrandizement, or fighting for what I can get out of situations. No, I don't do politics for those reasons. I do politics because I know when people are very well informed, people can make very conscious decisions and the right decisions for the future. So let me record this live program as well. I'll record this live program as well for my WhatsApp channels, the Voice of Lamentamba 1, Voice of Lamentamba 2, and the other chat groups in the Republic of the Gambia where uh, people share information, we educate each other, we empower each other, we advise each other. All those channels will have the audios once I've completed the program. So that's why I recorded. Today's program, again, is going to be short. I want it to be under 1 hour, nothing longer than 1 hour. So share the program. 1 second. Let me start this recording. TikTok live, share this with your colleagues. Let them know I'm live. I'm talking about Gambia predominantly. I'll touch a bit on West Africa in general, talk a bit about Chad. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Friday, the 27th of December, 2024. It will be the last Friday of 2024, Christmas 2024. If you do celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a joyous one. I hope you had a fantastic one. I hope your family and yourself came together. It's a season of family, people gathering together, sharing happy moments, reflecting on the past, thinking about the future. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you're having a wonderful rest over the last few public holidays, bank holidays. Thank you very much for tuning in today to TikTok Live, YouTube Live. My name is Lamin Tamba. So I am Gambian born and bred. I'll give you my background so that you know that what I'm talking about is based on solid information. My background is that of a public health officer, and then an environmental health officer, and then to a law graduate, and then to become a trainee solicitor in the United Kingdom. So I did public health in the Gambia, I did environmental health in the United Kingdom. So I am an environmentalist, I am a law graduate, I was a trainee solicitor, which I quit and returned to the public service of the United Kingdom. I'm also an artist. I do performing arts. I work for not-for-profit organizations, one of which has a festival in the Gambia on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of January 2025. It's called Fonyi Agency for Rural Development. We call it short FARD, F-A-R-D. We hold annual festivals to raise funds to support education of the underprivileged in the Republic of the Gambia. We support medical treatment of the underprivileged. We educate the underprivileged. We support people who basically have various needs, but the needs that will take their lives from A to B. Not because somebody wants to go and have a naming ceremony, somebody wants to go have a wedding. No. We pay tuition fees, we pay medical bills, we're involved in environmental programs, we're involved in education programs, we're involved in agricultural programs. We partner with other sister organizations. So that aside, Friday 27 December 2024, today's topic would be the rigged elections of 2021. So if you're tuning in and you're not familiar with Gambian politics, I'll set the ground so we can all be at the same speed as I present this program to you all. The Republic of the Gambia, where I come from, had presidential elections in December 2021. The elections turned out to be what we didn't think was going to happen. We didn't think that the government of Adama Barrow, who was the incumbent at the time, won the elections. There were open, blatant violations of Elections Decree 1996. The Elections Decree 1996 governs how elections are conducted, how elections are held in the Republic of the Gambia. And the Elections Decree has set the parameters of operations for all political parties. All political parties must operate within those parameters. Now, most political parties, or almost all political parties, complied with the terms of the Elections Decree 1996. The election was held, it was peaceful, but we saw a lot of election irregularities before the presidential election, the voting day of the 5th of December. We saw a lot of irregularities. They were plain. In fact, the government of Adama Barrow was videoing these election violations on video and sharing it. Could be ignorance, could be arrogance, could be total disregard for the law. We do not know. As Shakespeare says, there is no art to find the mind's construction on the face. So therefore, whether they did it out of ignorance, not knowing that what they were doing was violating the Elections Decree 1996, or they're just arrogant, they knew it, knowing that nothing will come out of it, or they're just doing it on purpose anyway, because they can and they know nothing will come out of it. All right. So sometimes arrogance doesn't mean you're breaking the law. You're just doing it because you want everybody to know you're doing it. All right. You want to show off whatever you're doing. Sometimes arrogance goes with blatant violation of the laws of the land. And that's what the NPP did. In my view, they ticked all the three boxes. All right. One, ignorance. The other one is arrogance. The other one is total disregard for the law, because I don't think all of them that were caught on video sharing cooking pots, sharing condiments, sharing bags of rice, videoing themselves doing it, sharing it on social media, going to regional chairmen and chairpersons and giving them wads of cash to basically entice them into voting for the National People's Party, the political party of the current president of the Republic of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, who was the incumbent when the elections were being held in December 2021, sorry. So now, recently, one of the foot soldiers, I think frontline soldiers of the National People's Party, he supported Adama Barrow through thick and thin in 2021, before the elections, during the elections, after the elections. The guy is based somewhere in Europe, and his name is Mbemba Drammeh. This gentleman did everything to ensure the government of Adama Barrow was re-elected for a second term, knowing fully well that Adama Barrow, the current president of the Gambia, is totally incompetent, knowing fully well. By 2021, almost every single Gambian who's on social media, who was following media that was not on social media, local radio stations, knew 100%, no doubt, that the current president of the Gambia, Adama Barrow, was not cut out for the job, and that his government was failing woefully in every sector. This is not like the medical sector was failing, but education was good. This is not like the economy was good, but the security was poor. This is not like fisheries was good, but tourism was booming. No. What was happening in the Republic of the Gambia was a simple case of a country that was going places, performing really well in every aspect, was suddenly ground to a halt by the emergence of Adama Barrow and his coalition 2016, then eventually Adama Barrow and his NPP government. So this chap who supports Adama Barrow, probably one of NPP's best known campaigners in the diaspora, Gambians abroad, and on Gambian soil, because he was active on social media channels, just like myself, on the Voice of Lamentamba 1, Voice of Lamentamba 2. This guy had a social network too, where he constantly informed people to support the government of Adama Barrow, to support the NPP party, so that Adama Barrow can become re-elected, and his name is Mbemba Drammeh. So he went to a Gambia mainstream, one of the most followed online TV channels in the Gambia, called Kirfatu. Right? He went on the TV channel, whether he was actually speaking the truth that the 2021 election was rigged, and he was one of the 7 masterminds of the election rigging during the presidential elections of December 2021. He said he is one of 7 people, which also means he is one and 6 other people, making it 7, who were involved in the subverting of the will of Gambian people. So therefore, he has full knowledge of how the election results were manipulated to hand Adama Barrow and his government victory in December 2021. How did he do that? Who did he do that with? He didn't disclose. He said at a vantage period, at a vantage suitable time, all right, he will come out and divulge all the information as to how he and 6 others subverted the will of Gambian people. Now, why would you go on a mainstream TV channel of the Republic of the Gambia and say to the whole nation, and by now the whole world, that in fact, to quote him, that he knows how the election was rigged? Gambians were talking about election rigging in 2021. I know for a fact myself, Lamin Tamba, that the 2021 election was rigged. Not because I know how they played the results, how they manipulated the results behind the scenes, but by the conduct of the NPP government via many videos that I saw in the run-up to the presidential election in 2021, during the presidential election in 2021, it was plain, it was conspicuous, it was writings on the wall for anybody who cared to follow what the elections decree of the Republic of the Gambia said. And the elections decree says, when elections are declared, no candidate or no political party would be involved in giving the electorate lots of cash, lots of material, enticing people to vote for a particular candidate. That is a violation of Elections Decree 1996. And we had plenty of that in 2021. We saw NPP taking cooking pots, rice, loads of cash, going to places. In fact, some of the election registrations were taking place inside a minister's compound in Diabugu or somewhere in the URR, according to strong sources. And in fact, ministers of the government of Adam Barrow were threatening local leaders, alcalos, the chiefs, to give attestations to Senegalese citizens who wished to go to the Gambia and get voters cards to vote for the government of Adama Barrow. And Adama Barrow was the incumbent in December 2021. So he had all the state machinery, he had all the state wealth to ensure he did everything possible in terms of violating the Elections Decree 1996. He also bought loads of vehicles. This is Adama Barrow, who could barely make ends meet. This guy was a rent collector, was a land dealer, not a successful one, not the real estates that we see in other countries. This guy was scraping by. He wasn't wealthy. Suddenly, after 4 years in government, he was able to afford 100 vehicles, according to his NPP people. He purchased 100 vehicles for the presidential elections in 2021. He led a coalition of 8+1 parties in 2016. That election was also rigged, but the Supreme Court of the Gambia could not convene to hear details of how the elections were rigged. But we're talking about 2021 here because the topic today is one guy who claimed to be the mastermind, one of the masterminds of the election rigging in 2021. So I don't want to go to 2016 because that's going to make this live program lengthy, laborious, somewhat abstract to the topic for today's conversation. Now, this guy said, I am one of 7 people who rigged the elections of the Republic of the Gambia of December 2021. And I know how we rigged it. I know 6 other people who did it with me. At an opportune time, I will face the Gambian population and put the details on the table for people to know that Adama Barrow is serving an illegitimate second term as President of the Republic of the Gambia. The same thing happened in his first term. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court of the Gambia, on both occasions, didn't entertain the elections petition or election petitions which were submitted to challenge the results of the presidential election. But let's stick to 2021 for now. What Mbemba Drammeh did, I'm hoping that he actually has got material to prove that the presidential elections of the Republic of the Gambia of December 2021 were indeed rigged. Because that way, in the long run, he might get some salvation. He might garner some sympathy from the Gambian population. Because for those of us in the opposition, the APRC, No Alliance, the GDC, the UDP, we were strongly convinced that the elections were rigged. Several violations of the elections decree 1996 were made before us. We all saw what happened. This is not a joke, right? But when the election petition went to the Supreme Court of the Gambia, for some inexplicable reasons, decided that there was no merit to allow the elections petition to proceed to trial. Imagine something of a huge public interest. In my view, nothing is more ginormous. Nothing is grander than the challenge of a presidential election, especially in Africa where the institutions are still not fully developed. So a president, the incumbent, is everything for a nation. But that's the Supreme Court. Again, I would like to make this program short, sweet, concise, and to the point. So we're talking about the guy who came out and confessed that the election results were rigged, and he was part of the people who manipulated the results behind the scenes, and he's ready to share the information, but has now been arrested by the Gambia Police Force for sharing snippets of the information or claiming whether he's actually got the information, whether he's a Walter Mitty fantasist who just went on a popular TV program and decided to kind of indulge in some sort of exuberance, kind of self-aggrandizement, seeking attention so that the Gambian population would say, oh my God, Mbemba Drammeh said he was part of 6 people or part of 7 people who rigged the elections of 2021. And he's got so much information, he's going to release that information for public consumption. Maybe he's got the information. Maybe he's not fantasizing. Maybe he was not self-aggrandizing. Time will tell. As far as I'm concerned, this is a citizen who sat on a popular TV program and confessed to the highest crime on Gambian soil. He's come out and confessed to criminality. As far as I'm concerned, that's what he did. He participated in criminality. That's what he did. What information he has to tender to the police, who have now arrested him and are investigating his claims of rigging the presidential elections of 2021, December 2021. Adama Barrow knew he wasn't popular. By 2019, 2020, every Gambian citizen knew that Adama Barrow didn't have what it took to become the president of the Republic of the Gambia. Even the French and their television station, France 24, said to Adama Barrow, "You are an accidental president." The elections of 2016 were rigged. Nobody expected him to beat President Jammeh. First, the results were accepted by President Jammeh. Then the Independent Electoral Commission of the Gambia changed the results and said there was irregularities in the way they tabulated the results. So President Jammeh challenged the results, because if you declare the results once and then you came back and declared them a second time with a massive swing from one party to the other, what other mistakes might have been made in the tabulation of results? President Jammeh at first admitted the results and said that was the will of Gambian people, that he was prepared to relinquish power, hand it over to Adama Barrow, retire to his village, and continue his agricultural programs. Then a day or two later, the Independent Electoral Commission, after President Jammeh conceded defeat, turned around and said, "Oh, actually, we made mistakes with the presidential election results. We're going to change them." First, the results were a wide margin between Adama Barrow and his coalition in 2016 and President Jammeh. Then when they tabulated the results again, the gap narrowed. How many more mistakes were made in the process? That was the basis of President Jammeh's challenge of the election results of December 2016. But I don't want to go into that for now. I think I've documented that several times. I've spoken about it several times. The Supreme Court of the Gambia should have looked into the petition that alleged that the elections of December 2016 were rigged. The Supreme Court of the Gambia should have allowed the matter to proceed to trial in December 2021. The Supreme Court of the Gambia again frustrated such a mammoth of a public interest case. The Supreme Court of the Gambia, just because 1 out of 3 submission criteria, in my view, that submission was correct. But the Supreme Court of the Gambia said, because the opposition did not comply with the submission criteria of an election petition to the T, therefore, they weren't going to entertain the matter proceeding to trial. We were denied what could have been Gambian people seeing the back of such an incompetent head of state in the form of Adama Barrow. We were denied that in December 2021. So this guy came out and confessed. His name is Mbemba Drammeh. Came out and said, "Oh, I was part of the people who committed the criminal act of subverting the will of Gambian people. We rigged the election of 2021. Myself and 6 other people rigged the elections, manipulated the election results behind the scenes, and gave President Adama Barrow the win of the presidential elections." That's what he said. The guy was not under pressure. He was not coerced. He was not arrested by the Gambia police force at the time. He was not kidnapped by anybody. He was under no duress. He absolutely had no reason to come out and confess to criminality, but he did. Now, I'll credit him because as an individual, myself, I like speaking out. I like emptying my chest, telling people exactly what my position was. I like that. But not to the extent of somebody committing a crime this grave, a crime this serious. This is high treason, ladies and gentlemen. He's come out. We can give him credit for being bold, being brave, if he's telling the truth. And if indeed he's got the material to prove that the presidential elections of 2021 were indeed rigged in favor of the current president of the Republic of the Gambia. If he turns over that information to the police and to the lawyers, and that information becomes concrete, solid proof that the election results of December 2021 were manipulated by Drammeh and 6 others, Gambian peoples must not take the matter lightly. That would mean that the current president of the Republic of the Gambia is illegitimate. That's what it means, that Adam Barrow is running an illegitimate second term, and we cannot allow illegality to prosper. We can't allow that. If he's basically spicing up his TV program, sat on a platform, didn't know how to control his horses, decided to claim something of which he had no knowledge or no material to back himself, then we can say, okay, this is a bit of somebody looking for attention, somebody looking for that little bit of kind of looking for something to say on popular TV. He was invited to popular TV, didn't have anything to talk about. Therefore, he sought a subject that might give him some sort of relevance, some sort of importance. That might be the case. Public speaking and media engagement is not for every single person. You got to be careful. You got to back yourself up with facts. You have to have knowledge. You have to have experience. You have to be able to handle yourself. Yes, they've arrested Mbemba Drammeh. As of last night, he was still in police custody. They denied legal representation to Mbemba Drammeh yesterday. Lawyers were hired to go and see him, interview him with the potential of representing him on this matter. The lawyers were denied access to Mbemba Drammeh. So therefore, one would ask the question, what is the Gambia police force trying to conceal? Because if you arrest somebody within 6 hours, this is law, by the way, the United Kingdom law, within 6 hours of arresting somebody, they will have to seek legal representation, or if they've already applied for legal representation, the lawyers will have to see the person, interview the person, get instructions from the person to represent them, or following their interview with the candidate, they might say, no, I've decided not to represent the candidate, or the candidate didn't instruct me to represent them. And every 6 hours in detention, you have to have very good reason why you need to extend the detention for another 6 hours. A custody sergeant has to justify the reason to keep a suspect beyond 6 hours. But in any case, after 72 hours, you have to charge the suspect or release them. Now, Mbemba Drammeh was arrested yesterday, as far as I know. He's been in police custody all day till today, as far as I know. Before coming to this program, my sources on Gambian soil haven't said that he's been released. All right. But this guy came out and said, I committed the highest crime on Gambian land. I don't blame the police for arresting him. If it's true that the election was rigged and he was part of the 7 that rigged it, he confessed to a crime that he can't defend. I mean, if I came out now and I said to the people, I just slaughtered somebody on the high street, I just murdered somebody in cold blood, and I have evidence to say that I've murdered somebody in the street, what's there to defend, ladies and gentlemen? Why should we defend open, confessed criminality of the highest order? I mean, this guy should have come out when UDP submitted the election petition in December 2021 and said, oh, I'm so sorry. When I was doing this, I thought it was cool to do so. That it was cool to subvert the will of the people, to take the mandate of Gambian people from one political party and give it to another political party. In this case, took it from the opposition and gave it to the incumbent. He didn't do that. He had the opportunity to tender these election rigging pieces of evidence which he claims to have. He didn't do that. He sat there, allowed Gambia to disintegrate, to fall apart. As we're all seeing before us, Gambia is basically heading to a pit. He was enjoying, yes, with the NPP party, the party of Adama Barrow. Again, the credit I'll give him, this Drammeh guy resigned from the NPP, and his reasons for resigning is that he felt guilty for supporting the government of Adama Barrow in its bid to seek a second term. He said he felt guilty because Gambia is falling apart. Gambia is failing. Gambia is teetering on the brink of disaster. He said for that reason, he quit the party of Adama Barrow, the current government. He quit because he can't bear to see the struggles that the Republic of the Gambia is going through right now. He said that himself. That's why he quit the NPP. He no longer wanted to support President Barrow. And 77, according to the latest survey, 77% of the Gambian population said Gambia is going in the wrong direction. Many of them are clamoring and asking and seeking the return of President Jammeh. That's a different topic. When you compare Adam Barrow and President Jammeh, they're like the gap between the earth and the sky, with President Jammeh being in the sky. Adam Barrow's failing woefully. President Jammeh was taking Gambia one step at a time on that rung of the ladder. But that's another topic. The topic for today is the claimed criminality that was divulged, that was confessed on a mainstream television station in the Gambia by a gentleman who stated that he, in concert with 6 others, conspired to take the people's mandate from the opposition and hand it to the incumbent. And that incumbent is Adama Barrow, who's failing in every way. The IMF is in the Gambia trying to structure our failing economy. We have gone into serious debt that we've never seen since independence. Ordinarily, people wouldn't mind if that debt actually transformed into some meaningful, tangible development in the Gambia, and also a massive improvement in the socio-economic status of the population. But the opposite is what's happening in the Republic of the Gambia. Government individuals are becoming billionaires, extremely wealthy, but the average Gambian is becoming extremely poor. Nobody knows the 120 billion debt that the government of Adama Barrow has accrued has gone to. You cannot see it in the socio-economic status of Gambian citizens. In fact, Gambia is now at a state that nobody has ever seen. Nobody alive today has seen Gambia in this state where you go to a government hospital, there's not even paracetamol or aspirin. Simple analgesics, you can find them in Gambian hospitals. No X-ray machines, no CT scanners, no MRI scanners, nothing. They can't even afford fuel to run ambulances, to run our mothers in labor when they're in trouble, to run them from one hospital to our main referral hospital. They can't even provide water to our hospitals. They can't provide electricity to our hospitals. No medicine. They can't even look after the toilets in our hospitals. Our schools, children have gone back to sitting on the floor in downtown Gambia. Bundung Primary School, children are sitting on the floor again, something that was eradicated by the government of President Jammeh. The APRC government eradicated the sitting on the floor to learn for our Gambian children. We've gone back to pre-1994. Our children are sitting on the floor to learn in downtown Bundung Primary School. Up country in different places, our children have gone to the extent of carrying their stools, their tables, their material to school in order to be able to sit somewhere comfortable and concentrate on lessons. If you confess to criminality of this nature, it's grave. It's criminality that no sane person would come out and speak unless you're looking for forgiveness and you're ready to go the whole way and provide the information so that people can actually rise up. There'll be a popular uprising to remove the government of Adama Barrow because there is concrete information that the election has been rigged. If he's got that information and is looking for forgiveness and has become guilty after participating in crime of this nature, people can say, okay, well, you've done it. We'll give you credit for confessing. Even in law, and I did criminal law, 12 months I've been a trainee solicitor part-time. I'm 4 months full-time in one of the best criminal defense law firms in the United Kingdom. And the Gambian law and the United Kingdom law, as well as many other Commonwealth countries, are similar. If you confess at the beginning, you come up with the goods, all right? You plead guilty at the beginning, you can benefit from lighter sentences. You can benefit from kinder treatment from the legal system. So if he came out because he suddenly felt guilty that what Gambia is going through, the failure that Gambia is going through, I participated in it by taking people's mandate away from the opposition and giving it to a dead incumbent who's continually getting worse. Usually, people who've got scope for improvement, educated people, experienced people, they will get better on the job as time goes on. Nobody was born to become president. Nobody was ever trained to become president. Huh? But when you become president, there should be noticeable improvement year on year if you have the scope for improvement, if you're intelligent and you're willing to learn, and if you've experience of working for public services, there will be noticeable improvement year on year. The same cannot be said of Adama Barrow. He's getting worse year on year. The guy has not improved since he stepped into the office accidentally, according to the French. And we also agree that he got to office accidentally. First accident was December 2016. The second accident was December 2021. I am hoping that this Drammeh guy, Mbemba Drammeh, will go all the way and provide information that would lead us to a conclusion that our suspicions of December 2021, which led us into appealing against the presidential election results, was indeed true, because we suspected something went wrong with the presidential elections in the Gambia. We appealed against it. The Supreme Court frustrated our appeal. We lost the appeal. Yes, we can also give Mbemba Drammeh the credit that when he saw that Adama Barrow and his NPP were rotting, increasingly deteriorating, he quit. He couldn't take it anymore because he's seeing our young sisters dying in labor because there's a power cut in the middle of cesarean operation. He's seeing our sisters dying because ambulances didn't have battery to start. They didn't have fuel to run from one clinic to the other. They can't afford blood bags. They can't afford surgical gloves. The worst scandal now is our airport not having electricity and flights having to be diverted to Dakar, Senegal. That's not the first time we suffered a power cut at the airport on the Adama Barrow, by the way. The one that happened a few days ago was the worst form of it because 2 airlines couldn't land. One of them tried 3 times to land at our Gambian airport and it couldn't because there was a power cut and nobody knows what happened to the standby generator, something that never happened throughout President Jammeh's term. 22 years of Gambian airport. If power was cut, the generators kicked in. A stable and dedicated power line was run from the National Water and Electricity Company to the airport. The line rarely had power cuts, but if it did, there was a standby generator, a working one, which kicked in to ensure our flights landed safely. None of our visitors to the Gambia were inconvenienced in the nature that we're seeing on a regular basis in the Republic of the Gambia now. And when you talk about it, they say, oh, even UK airports had power cuts. Even the United States airports had power cuts. I tell you what, that's true. But the difference is that the United States airports would suffer power cuts because of an accident, floods, thunderstorms, tornadoes, cyclones, stuff like that. Or a lorry ran a power line down. Somebody hit, there is an accident somewhere. There would be an accident somewhere that led to the power cut at an airport in the United Kingdom or an airport in the United States. In the Gambia, there was no thunderstorm, there was no flood, no lorry or truck ran a power line down. No accident happened that would have led to the cut of electricity to our airport. In addition, if the power cut occurred at the airport, where was the standby generator? The managing director of the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority or Gambia International Airlines came out and said, oh, you know what? The power was cut by the National Water and Electricity Company, NAWEC. And when we tried to turn the standby generator on, whatever happened to it, he couldn't even explain himself. He said when power came back from Nawek, the power was not stable. It kept coming on and off. When the power is not stable, and you know that, because before you reconnect power, you test it to make sure it's stable before you reconnect it. Why didn't you test it? In the meantime, while the power was flip-flopping, how come you didn't use your standby generator? This could have resulted in serious deaths, a massive accident at our airport. What if the flight didn't have reserve fuel in their tanks or couldn't divert for any reason? Senegalese airport was busy, or Guinea-Bissau airport was busy, or all the nearby regional airports were busy. What if the flight is actually taking the attempt to land and then the signals all went off and the pilots couldn't see where the runway was? They couldn't see the signals at the airport. What could have happened? I could have been on that flight. You could have been on that flight. Where is the $20 we're paying to land at Gambia International Airport and the $20 we pay to depart from Gambia International Airport? And this fee applies to even Gambian citizens. When I travel to the Gambia, I pay to enter my own country, $20 US dollars. And when I'm leaving Gambia, I pay $20 US dollars to leave the airport again. President Jammeh and his APRC government never had that money, but they never suffered from what was going on now. No air conditioning at Banjul International Airport. The seats are breaking. The conveyors are breaking. All right. The airport doesn't look like they spent 31 million US dollars that they claimed to have spent on it 3 years ago, 4 years ago to renovate it. 31 million US dollars they spent renovating it. And the airport is worse now than it has ever been. Earlier this year or last year, flights couldn't land because they couldn't maintain the runway. There were potholes. And then there was a fire. Instead of clearing the airport, being on the front foot and looking after the airport, they weren't doing it. They were neglecting the airport. Flights couldn't land. There was a fire outbreak. There was a runway problem. There was maintenance problem. And they had to fly in maintenance crew or the flights had to go to Senegal. Could this actually be Senegal deliberately cutting power to the Gambia? Because our electricity is now entirely dependent on Senegal, car power, and Guinea. If Senegal cuts the power to the Republic of the Gambia, we will not have electricity at our airport. Could this be a deliberate act by Senegal to try and sabotage our tourism, or to start the early signs of asking airline fly to Dakar instead and then transport anyone who wishes to go to the Gambia on land? I'm not saying that's what's happening. I am just a critical thinker and a cynical thinker sometimes. Now that we don't have our own independent power stations in the Gambia, the government of Adam Barrow have killed all of them. Barrow stood before people here and told people what was not true. He said we had so much electricity, stable and adequate, to a point they had to turn off some generators. While he was delivering that speech, the power supply cut off to his mic and his event. He turned around and said, "Oh, was there a power cut?" And his aide said, "Yeah, that was a power cut." The irony of it all. It was so funny. He said, "Oh, we had so much electricity. It's so adequate that we had to turn off some generators." Next thing, power cut right in his face. Is Senegal trying to take over our airport, just like the same way they undermined our Dubai port? Same way they're undermining our seaport. Same way they're allegedly undermining our oil industry. Guinea-Bissau's got oil. Senegal's got oil. We all share the same underground source. Same underground source. Senegal's extracting their oil. Guinea-Bissau is extracting their oil and gas. Senegal is extracting their oil and gas. We are in the middle of the pipe. We are in the middle of the underground source. But they're telling us that the Gambia has no oil and gas. They couldn't discover where our oil and gas, which was probably first discovered before Senegal and Guinea. No, I'm not reading the comment section. Sorry. I want to focus on this, because if I read comment sections, what I find is there are many detractors online who write because they just don't want anything that is of national interest. Those people are looking for their personal interest. This is where we are. They said Gambia doesn't have oil. We are in the middle of the pipe work. the underground source. Guinea-Bissau on our left, Senegal is on our right if you're facing the west. If you're facing east, Senegal is on our left, Guinea-Bissau is on our right. Gambia is in the middle of the same underground source, the same pipe that gives us oil and gas. They said Gambia doesn't have oil and gas. Suddenly, our oil and gas is evaporated. It's become mysterious. Guinea-Bissau is getting there, Senegal is getting there. We're in the middle, we can't see our oil. Our Dubai port was snatched by Senegal. Our airport, our tourism, Senegal is now running tourist flights to the destinations where Gambia used to source our tourist guests. Did Senegal do it deliberately? As they're done with almost everything, our fisheries, our security, our economy, everything, internet, energy supply. What is left of your country if you do not have your own energy supply? You don't have your own security. You don't have your own fisheries or territorial waters. You don't have your territorial land because your security has been outsourced to Senegal. What is there to call a sovereign nation again? But Adam Barrow had money to go to Senegal. Adam Barrow had money to go to Kenya. Adam Barrow had money to fly to different places. Adam Barrow had money to go and meet the people and deceive them too. He was supposed to go and meet the farmers and talk about their issues and how his government can alleviate their suffering. He went on tour just to go and sell stories, sell snake oil to the Gambian population. Snake oil doesn't exist. He went out to sell it to Gambian people. Went on a tour of deception, telling them stuff that doesn't exist, claiming projects that are not his, claiming that his development is greater than what President Jawara and President Jammeh brought to Gambian shores. Says nothing sensible. This guy's got no capacity, never had it. Even he admitted that he wasn't cut out for the job. Why then would anyone rig the election in his favor? And then after rigging the election, you come out and confess to high treason and you expect sympathy from the Gambian population. Yes, he can get sympathy in the long run. He just needs to cough up every single thing that he was involved in, as he claimed, to show to the Gambian population, to show to ecowas, to show to UNDP and anyone who's involved in Gambian electioneering that indeed the elections of December 2021 were rigged in favor of Adam Barrow. The mandate of the people was taken from the opposition and given to the government. We are losing everything. Our sovereignty is gone. The person that replaces Adam Barrow has to be on the board, has to have a good grounding in public administration, has to have a heart for the Gambia, has to be fearless, has to have knowledge, has to have experience. The job on their hands will be more difficult than where Gambia was in 1994. Any president would like to build roads everywhere, airports everywhere, but you cannot take so much debt, so much loans to a point where your economy becomes non-credit worthy. You're servicing debt 24/7 to a point where IMF are on Gambian soil now, assisting the government of Adam Barrow to structure their loans, something we never had before. When President Jammeh left, even the government of Adam Barrow confessed the Central Bank of the Gambia had a surplus of $100 million. Surplus. That means they made profit and they had an additional 100 million sitting on the side. They also had a reserve of $75 million. Within few months of that, the government of Adama Barrow evaporated. They decimated that money, totally incinerated every single reserve or additional money that was left behind by the government of President Jammeh. But you know what they did? To make it worse or to enable their embezzlement, their corruption, they said, oh, President Jammeh ran away with $12 million, $11 million, just to cover the fact that they were hungry, they were angry, they were selfish, they were greedy. They just wanted to go and grab the sovereign wealth that was left behind by President Jammeh, but do it under the cover of President Jammeh took $11 million, $12 million before he fled the Gambian shores. President Jammeh didn't flee the Gambian shores. He said, okay, you guys want to come and attack my country and damage all the work I did in the last 22 years. I'm not going to allow you that. I'm going to leave the country. He left the country peacefully with the national anthem blasting as he walked on the red carpet, took what he wanted to take and left peacefully. Today, we're peaceful in the Republic of the Gambia, not because of what Adam Barrow and others did. Adama Barrow and his colleagues declared war on Gambian people in 2017. President Jammeh said, no, I'm not going to give you the opportunity to damage my country. I'll leave peacefully. So he left. The Supreme Court refused to hear President Jammeh's election challenge. So he left. No war in the Gambia. We're peaceful today. You think Adama Barrow and his people will pick up from there and run with it and take Gambia to the next level? No. Gambia's now gone down. Crime rates are sky high. No medical services, no education, no security, no tourism. Our biggest employers, Adama Barrow gave away our Charalams, our Banjul breweries is now brewing in Senegal, but bringing it back to the Gambia to sell our beverages, fresh beverages, at extortionate prices. What we used to manufacture in the Gambia, Adama Barrow gave it to Senegal, and Senegal is coming back again to the Gambia to sell it back at us at higher prices. Banjul Breweries is gone. Cheralams, another beverage company, is also on its way out. Our internet, the Ace cable or whatever, is now routed to Senegal. Our electricity, Senegal. Adama Barrow's bodyguards, Senegal. His security, Senegal. Our fisheries, Senegal. Our land territory, Senegal. Our Banjul, Yilitenda, Bambatenda crossing the Trans-Gambia, which he named Senegambia, Senegal. Every single thing you can think about. Even our cashew trade, Senegal. Even most of our shipping companies now go to Senegal instead and transport their goods via land. The same thing that I suspect they're trying to do with the airport, fly to Senegal and travel to Gambia by land. Our shipping companies are now taking their merchandise to Senegal and transporting it by land to the Gambia. We have totally lost our sovereignty, thanks to Adama Barrow, thanks to this gentleman who's come out and said, we rigged the election of 2021 so that Gambia can be on its knees right now. Gambia is on life support. Whoever takes over from Adama Barrow has got a big job on their hands. Enormous. It'll be ridiculous. We better have somebody who's competent, knows public administration, loves Gambia, is upright, forthright, no fear, tells the truth no matter what, stands up for the population. Somebody who's not as hungry as Adama Barrow and his cronies when they go into power. Somebody who's probably lived their limelight and don't care about praise singing, about enriching themselves. Something has to happen. Something has to happen. What are we going to do about it? This topic was about election rigging in 2021 as confessed by one of NPP's stalwarts. He was one of the NPP's stalwarts, front foot soldier. He was one of their outright outspoken supporters in 2021 and 2022, until he said, in his own words, started seeing Gambia falling apart. Maybe that's the guilt that forced him to come and confess to what they were involved in 2021. Maybe he's got information. At this point, if he wants sympathy from the Gambian population, he needs to come forward with the information. And I'm hoping Gambia Police Force will allow him to have his lawyers. But if he confessed to high treason of this nature, there's nothing to defend. The only thing his lawyers would do is assist him in terms of advancing his legal rights if and when the matter goes to trial, advance his legal rights. But if somebody came and said, I just killed somebody, I've got evidence that I killed somebody, what's there to defend? It's hard to defend. He confessed to criminality. The lawyers cannot defend him, but they can advance his legal rights by making sure if he's charged or tried, he has a fair trial. And to ensure that he is not under duress, that he is not being extorted of information that he didn't have or didn't say or didn't have to tender to the Gambian population or to the world. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I came live today on YouTube and TikTok. And today is the 27th of December 2024. This will probably be my last program for the year. Thank you very much for being with me over 2024. I've not been doing TikTok live until recently. I've done YouTube live before. I've done Facebook live a lot, but Facebook, since we started the Pan-Africanism, empowering, encouraging the movements that we're seeing in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and now Chad. Facebook started censoring many of us Pan-Africans. So I stopped doing lives on Facebook because what's happening in West Africa is not accidental. It's the coming together of many youths from different countries throughout Africa, not just West Africa. I am part of very powerful Pan-African networks. I don't want to talk about them here. And the revolutions that are taking place in West Africa are nothing new. Every sub-region of of Africa is prospering, is speeding towards development, except West Africa. And the reason why West Africa is still lagging behind is because it's the Francophone nations that dominate West Africa. Every time ECOWAS decided to do something useful for its populations, the Francophone vetoed it if France wasn't happy with it. Thankfully, today, the French government has handed over their last military base in Chad. Yeah? Yes, they blocked us. I know, Pan-African comrades. They blocked me before. Still, my pages, my profiles on Facebook have got shadow bans, all right? They got shadow bans. They don't want me to talk about Pan-Africanism. Because when we came together and created these Pan-African networks and the United States of Africa on Facebook, the United States of Africa Facebook page should have had millions of followers by now. But every time we go close to 1 million followers, they remove followers from our page on Facebook. This is what's going on. This is the mountain we have to climb until we have our own platforms belonging to African people. So my Facebook and Instagram have been heavily shadow banned. Yes, they've been banned heavily. We created the United States of Africa during COVID, and we created Pan-African networks throughout Africa. Today, I can tell you what's happening in Kenya in real time. I can tell you what's happening in South Africa in real time. I can tell you what's happening in Algeria, in Ethiopia, in Somalia, in real time, in Egypt. They started banning us. They started banning any page on Facebook they recognize with Pan-African ideals, supporting the revolutions in Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, Chad, Guinea. Although the Guinea one is a betrayal in the end. But we'll get there. The problem we have now, Senegal has now been taken over by Pan-Africans. The next step is Ivory Coast, Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea. Doumbouya has lost it. That Doumbouya has lost it. No, I'm not in Patriotic Gambia group anymore. I left because people were not focusing. AGTV, thank you for asking. I'm not in Patriotic Youth for Change. I'm not in Patriotic Gambia group anymore. You can add me back. But in 2021, when people were busy supporting Adama Barrow and we were telling them what was going to happen in the Gambia, as it's happening now, people turned me into enemy number one. So I left those groups because all they were doing is insulting me, attacking me, personal attacks. Now they're all coming back and confessing and saying, look, we didn't know it was going to be like this. What we told you. I don't have knowledge of the future. I just have experience of public administration. I run a high office. I won't tell you where. But I've got experience of public administration. I look at politics as maths, calculate what's going to happen, look at the history, look at what's happening now, and it'll give you a good idea of what's going to happen in future. I don't know what's going to happen in future. I've got a good idea of what's going to happen. So when we stood up against Adama Barrow's re-election in 2021, we were public enemy number ones in those fora. So I decided I was going to quit because my politics is not about individualism. I don't attack people. I don't go into their private lives. I don't insult their fathers, their mothers, or dig into how many wives they have, how wealthy they are, how poor they are. That's not my type of politics. My politics is concentrating on public administration, concentrating on our nation, concentrating on our sovereign wealth, educating people, sharing information, giving them informed choices as to what they should do when they go to the polling booth in person. That's my politics. I don't insult people. I don't care which tribesman runs State House. I don't care which region the president comes from. Just do what's good for the Gambian people. Medical services, top-notch. Agriculture have to be top-notch. Education have to be top-notch. Let's go towards science and research and manufacturing. That's what I care about. I don't care about tribe. I don't care about region. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I don't care about whether they're wealthy or poor. That's not my politics. And every Gambian that's been following me for the last 6, 7 years of activism knows that I don't engage in politics of stupidity. You want to attack me, that's your problem. You don't like me, that's your problem. But listen to what I'm saying. Don't shoot the messenger. There's not a single thing I said that was misleading or going into people's privacy in Gambian politics. If I reported on a matter today and new information came to light the next day, I'll come out and say, yeah, I got that story wrong. Part of it is right, but some of it or most of it is wrong. This is the latest information we have. I'm not too proud. I don't have ego. I got zero ego. And I can tell you a lot about public administration. I work for the world's most advanced civil service to where I am today. I don't want to brag too much. I don't want to tell you. All right. I worked for Gambian civil service too. So I can tell you a lot. Don't care about tribe, don't care about gender, don't care about age, don't care about region, don't care about anything else apart from delivering to the public. If you become a president, you are employed by your populations. You serve the populations. You deliver the services, public services, education, health, agriculture, environment, energy supply, water supply, the fundamental rights, inalienable rights, the daily needs of the population. You have to make those easier, accessible, affordable. You have to. If you don't do that, then the public, there'll be uproar everywhere like it's happening now. And I'm hoping the failure of NPP is what led Mbemba Drammeh to confessing. I'm hoping he's got good information to share with the police, to share with the courts, to share with the lawyers. If it turns out that NPP knowingly rigged the elections of 2021, Adama Barrow and his people should not be in State House longer than 24 hours. But does he have that information? We'll wait and see. They've denied lawyers access to Mbemba Drammeh in detention. What are they hiding? What don't they want the lawyer to know? What is the police and the NPP government hiding from Mbemba Drammeh's lawyer? Anyway, it's been over an hour now since I sat here discussing this matter with you. I am going to bring this conversation, this discussion to a close. I pray for all of you that we see 2025 together, that we look at our nations rather than our personal gain, that even if you don't like the person, if they're speaking the truth, just say, yeah, what he's speaking is the truth. I just don't like him. Don't say, oh, the person is speaking the truth, or say he's lying, or start attacking him, going into his family business, his private life, or because he's poor, or because he's from that region, you mustn't listen to him. Those days are gone. In fact, these days, friends are sometimes more useful to you than your family members. These days, somebody who's not your tribe is sometimes more worthy to you than your family members. Somebody who's not your tribe, not your region, not your family member could turn out to be your cornerstone, could turn out to be that pedestal, that platform that builds you to greatness. So this person is from my region, that person is from my tribe, he's from my family. Let's put that aside, Africa, not just Gambia, everywhere in Africa. Let's look at somebody who has good meaning for your nation, has got good plans for your nation. Let's push that person to the top office. They got their own little wealth. They got their own limelight. They've lived it big in the past. They're not in the presidency so that people can praising them, so that they can amass lots of wealth, so that they can basically look like they're the be all and end all. No, we want people who go to that office and think, I got to make people's lives different. I'm going to dedicate my time to improving every single sector. That's what public administration is about. You don't go into public administration because you can be wealthy. Public administration is not for making people wealthy. If you do public administration correctly and you get your correct grades, pay, you cannot become wealthy. If you want to be wealthy, you go to private companies or you create your own business, things like that, and then private companies will pay you lots of money. Government doesn't pay you that much. Even the president is not as paid as secretaries in other companies, directors in private companies. It's a sacrifice. What the pay you get in public administration is looking at the public and thinking, I made that happen. And that has left a significant impact on people, lasting legacy on people. That's what public administration is all about. Nobility, making a meaningful contribution, leaving a lasting legacy, significant positive impact in the lives of the people, the population. That's the massive payment you get by being in public administration. You cannot pay that. You cannot reward that. The teachers, the police, the firefighters, the army, they're all poorly paid. You can never pay them for their service. They're there because they want to carry their national colors. When you become a president, you're a police officer, you're a prison officer, you're a teacher, you're a medical, you're every profession in that job. You look after all of them. You make sure they have very good experiences when they go to work. The population have got very good experiences. It's sacrifice. You don't become president to become wealthy. Public administration, public jobs don't pay you as much as private. I can leave my job today in the UK civil service and earn double what I'm earning. I can do that. In fact, right now, I've got 3 of us sitting. The job I'm serving now, I sat on it for 1 year. They kept on reminding me, when are you going to accept it? When are you going to accept it? I accepted it in the long run. The next step I take, I cannot do this activism. That's why I refuse to take some of these jobs, because when you take them, your activism is restricted. You can't get involved in activism. You can't get involved in politics. You can't do anything like that. If I can sacrifice just to help the APRC, just to help share this information with Gambian people, help them learn, help them open their eyes, you can surely sacrifice and get the benefits that come with the presidency are good enough anyway. You don't have to be rich. Don't allow your ministers to swindle public finances. Let them make meaningful differences. Set key performance indicators. Do performance reviews. Put everything in documents. Let it be proven on paper. Fight in terms of which department is performing, providing the best statistics for the people. That's what public administration is. Oh, my department, Ministry of Trade, is doing way better than your Ministry of Finance. Or my Ministry of Agriculture is doing way better than the Ministry of Fisheries. Compete in performance, not competing as to who can amass X amount of wealth before they leave public office. How many houses did I build when I became minister? Realistically, you cannot build a decent house in the Gambia on a minister's salary within the space of 2-3 years. It's going to take you a few years to start building a decent house for yourself. So if you become a minister within 5-10 years and you've built yourself 2, 3, 4, 5 houses, you are basically being a suspect of siphoning public funds to personal gain. Unless when you became minister, your salary, you did take some of it and invested in business. Well, people will know that. People will know that. Ladies and gentlemen, have a very good Friday. Enjoy your evening. Thank you very much for dedicating time to come and listen to me on TikTok and YouTube channel. I appreciate you all. Let's build a better Gambia. That's the way forward. And I'm hoping this Drammeh guy has got solid information that will lead into the public deciding whether they want to retain Adama Barrow or not. If he doesn't have that information, then he's got a lot of fires to fight. And I can only hope that he does actually have the information, because we, the opposition, thought the elections in 2021 were rigged. And on that note, and on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, have a very good evening. Thank you very much.